You probably remember my next guest from her role as Kate Beckett on the hit series Castle, because I sure as hell do. Now she stars in and executive produces Absentia, which is amazing. The show is back for its 3rd season on Amazon Prime. Y'all take a look.
Whoa, whoa. Easy, Tiger. I'm hungover.
From last night?
No, from the weekend. Hangovers last way longer when you're over 30.
Oh.
Yeah. Never again. I heard you're reinstating hearings next week.
Wow. No secrets at the FBI, huh?
I'm surprised you want to come back.
Why? Don't you miss me?
I've had better partners.
All right, let's get her in here. Stana Katic, what are you up to?
Hi, I'm good. Hello.
Hello, where are you calling from?
I'm calling, actually, I'm in Los Angeles right now. Yeah, because I need internet. So, and otherwise this would be crazy if I was elsewhere. Yeah.
Oh, well, where have you been then? If you're not in Los
Usually I'm in Central California at my home up there.
Oh, okay. So it's like in the mountains or something?
It is. It's off grid. It's, you know, solar panels and spring water sourced and everything, but the internet is super dodgy. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I better get down to LA. Yeah. Do you have that?
Montana. Yes. And when we first got to Montana, I mean, that was supposed to be our ranch, our getaway where we weren't working. And then all of a sudden I'm working there. I literally would be up till 4 to 6 a.m. in the morning trying to upload videos. Like TV show. I mean, it was pure hell. And I was miserable.
How good are you at all of this, though? How good are you at all of this computer stuff? Because I am like terrible.
I am not good at all. Luckily, one of our ranch hands that helped out on the ranch, he happened to be like a really good IT guy kind of thing too. He just happened to be not a job. He was just good at it. And he would help set things up and help me do stuff. And now, like, luckily with the pandemic, they come in with masks and they set everything up in my house and then they leave. And then, because I'm not good at it. This is not my forte at all. I love that you have that place to go with like your family. That was really good. Like to be able to.
Oh, it was such a gift. Such a gift. Yeah, because I had the entire kind of a huge chunk of the family came over when the pandemic started. So when we hit quarantine, my brother's 4 kids were housed with us. They're ages 1 to 7. My parents, my aunt, so there's like 9 people, 9 humans, and then our dog. And it was a packed house, but it was a lot of fun. Like I'm from a family of 6 kids, right? So all of this is kind of normal. And then we're also European by background. So it got even more normal when we started planting our own foods and things like that, you know? So it's ended up being a beautiful gift that I don't think I would have been able to have otherwise.
Yeah, so you're not only the star in this show, Absentia, which I love. You are a part of everything awesome that I love. But you start it and you run it. So how did you pull it together in quarantine? That must have been not super fun.
That was crazy. It was crazy. First of all, the toddler, like the 3-year-old, loved to come in during meetings. If they weren't like in the weird hours at 2 o'clock in the morning, because we were dealing with meetings that had to time out somehow with Poland, which is where we were editing. Luckily, we finished actually filming the show before we started editing. But once we got into editing, it was Poland, France, Israel, and all US time zones that were working together to try to make this thing happen. But yeah, it was nuts because I was living in that house that I'm telling you about, the one in Central California, where the internet is super duper dodgy. And it depends on like, is the satellite facing our direction or is it facing somewhere else? You know, you never know. Yeah. So I'd get kicked off of meetings and I would have to literally run down the mountain to try to find satellite signal somewhere in order to finish off the rest of these meetings. And it was either that or it was like a toddler or one of the kids running into the room, really needing to talk to me or just needing to sit on my lap. And thankfully, because I'm working with a really great group of people from Sony and so forth, they all got it. We're all in it together. We managed to make it work.
So for people that are not familiar with Absentia, what's the show about? Tell everybody what the whole thing's about.
Oh my gosh. Well, this is the 3rd season that we're starting off in, and this is very much the most action-oriented version of it. But the original season is basically about this woman who was an FBI agent. She was on a hunt after one of Boston's most notorious serial killers, and she disappears, and she's declared dead in absentia. And 6 years later, woo, she comes back, and her husband is already remarried. Her toddler is being raised by another woman, and she has to go down this journey of self-discovery. And she's not entirely sure of this weird history that she has that she can't quite remember. So it's a journey of self-discovery, and we move from this character being a victim survivor, and then eventually, I think, through to season 3, which is a moment where she comes forward as more of a liberator.
I love it. I love the show. I mean, I just remember first watching it when it first came out. I was like, what is this going to be about? Because I just love you. I'm a fan. And I was like, it was such a cool start, and it's such a great show in the sense it kind of keeps you hooked and wants to know more and more of the story and how it unfolds. And it's done really, really well. So, I mean, we all loved you, obviously, when you're a part of a show like Castle that lasts for 8 seasons. You tend to have a fan base for life from that. So I'm just curious though, because you now went into executive producing in different roles, like behind the scenes too. What do you think you learned anything? Like, I know that you were acting on that show, and I know that was kind of what you did there, but is there something you think you learned from there in that 8 seasons? Were you watching everybody? Were you wanting to end up doing what you're doing right now?
Yeah, that's actually something that I do talk about with people on and off. It's the idea of there are some actors, there are some performers, and I'm guessing even vocalists who, when they're exclusively kind of focused on that world. And then there are some actors who are storytellers and who really are curious about the wider scope of how do we put this thing together. And I've always fallen under that umbrella. So even when we were shooting Castle, I was always the one who was sitting at Video Village, talking to the directors, talking to the writers, talking to the producers, asking about what's the difference? Yeah. What's the difference between having a character focused up here or a character focused down there? And everybody was so open and so willing to share their craft with me, from camera operators who let me run the camera sometimes, to our set designers and architects and carpenters and everybody, you know, like their doors were open to me. And that was such a gift. And I ended up getting so much information just by sitting there, just by being there. And I didn't realize after 8 years how much now I'm almost subconsciously, unconsciously capable of contributing to a story. And I've reaped the rewards of a lot of that now in this phase as an executive producer on a show. And I enjoy it. I enjoy contributing to a story on that level.
It's just really cool. It just shows that you're curious and you're invested, and it shows that in the show that you're that kind of interested in this story, and every part counts. That's my favorite part of watching shows, when you can tell that the writers or the producers, like, nobody's like a throw off character. Everybody is like involved in there, and it all counts. And I think when it all matters, those are the best stories. So great job. It's an awesome show.
Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you so much, Stana. You know I'm such a big fan of yours. Also a big fan of Absentia. Y'all should catch it. The new season is streaming now on Amazon Prime.